Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of this nation and recognize their continuing connection to land, waters, and culture. We acknowledge that we meet, write, and broadcast on the traditional country of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We would like to pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to other Indigenous people who are present. Sovereignty was never ceded, always was, always will be Aboriginal land.
Hello and welcome back to Stife and Lyle. I am Emily and I currently have no reception on my phone whatsoever. So when I don't have an internet connection, I'm literally raw dogging life right now.
And my name's Zoe, and I do have an internet connection because I don't suck.
Because you're not an Optus bitch.
I'm not an Optus bitch. Telstra.
Yeah, Telstra, honestly, big ups to Telstra today because Optus let me down.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, it sucks to suck. It sucks to suck.
Okay. Today we are going to be talking about celebrity fashion. We're going to be talking about like how historically celebrities have influenced fashion. They're basically like the first models. We'll be talking about like some of our celebrity fashion influences and just basically kind of that relationship between fashion, what's trendy, and like what celebrities are wearing. So it's going to be a fun time.
We've got an actual prop this week. Can I show
you can show the prop.
Zoe's brought. Look at this little sexy thing.
It might be backwards on the camera, but
it will be. But we can.
I bought it. Oh no, I got it as a Christmas present a while ago. It's 100 Ideas That Changed Fashion by Harriet Worsley. So we got
big
a
ups to Hazza
today. Should we do a quick fit check?
Quick fit check. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start.
I love your outfit today.
I went very like gold and yellow and orange today. I've got my wrap thing.
Wrap. It's very 70s.
Yeah, I've worn it before. You know, you can repeat stuff.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. You can repeat outfits. I give you permission. I'm wearing some gold chains, some
I
gold
rescind
brooches.
the permission. Be Justin Bieber and throw out your underwear after one use.
I've got some leaf earrings. I'm ignoring you. Got some yellow eye makeup, and it's just generally
with a bit of orange under eye as well. We've got to go close on that. It looks really, really good.
Thank you.
I love the autumnal inspiration today, given that
It's the middle of summer.
It's spring.
Oh,
it's spring. It would be autumn if we were anywhere else in the world.
I desperately want to be a British person.
Aw, stop it.
So much.
Aw, you do wish you were me.
I do.
I knew it. I knew it.
What are you wearing today?
This has actually got a little jumpsuit.
A little jumpsuit moment. A little have to get a bit naked in the bathroom moment.
Okay, well, I didn't want to think about that, but I mean, yes, I guess technically, yeah.
Cute little.
I've got this little hairband, and it's a bit fuzzy on top, and it's got little pearls in. This was a Christmas present from my friend Emma that I got last year. Shout out to Emma. And then I have this little scarf that I got with you.
Go to Salvo's if you want scarves, guys.
The Salvo's. Where was the Salvo's again?
It's in Tempe.
The Tempe Salvo's.
Has so many, just an inordinate amount of scarves.
And I got my nails done with Bella, a friend of the pod, Bella. Got my nails done Monday, and I'm really happy with them because they're really pretty and not chipped now. Also, I have new earrings.
Ooh.
They're little gold hearts that my mummy bought me from Greece because my parents got back in the last week.
Nice.
And they bought me these earrings, and it was from a jewelry shop called Emily.
It's match made in heaven.
And they had little. I just really love them.
Yeah, that's pretty.
All right, top tip number 1 from Emily: ribbons. When you get ribbons, be it in a little present to tie up from a little present, or if you've been given some flowers, keep the ribbon because they're really ribbons as an accessory are so nice. And it's kind of hard to just find a ribbon without buying a full whole roll from a craft store. So keeping your stray ribbons. We don't have long hair right now, but when I had long hair, I was obsessed with using ribbons to like as a little accessory.
It's pretty.
And you can use it, you can attach it to a clip even with a I'll do it sometime and put it as like a little extra clip. It's really cute. I would highly recommend. Keep your ribbons that you find along the way. The ribbons are the friends you make along the way.
So we're going to start off by talking about the kind of historical relationship between celebrities and fashion, because it's got a pretty significant history, I'd say. People have kind of always looked to like high profile people as kind of the stars of the fashion world, like even before like the 20th century, like
or the 21st century, really. Like it's very common now that people know, like you have your fashion influence, like the word influencer is specifically used in association with celebritydom quite a lot these days. Like it's very well known now that people take inspiration from celebrities, but
like in between, like before like the 20th century, a lot of the fashion inspiration came from like kings and queens and like royalty. For example, the origin of white wedding dresses is because Queen Victoria wore white to her wedding. Like before she did that, people would just wear like whatever was their nicest garment to their wedding, and but then she wore white to their wedding and everyone was just like, oh, I guess I gotta wear white now.
Yeah, and it's always interesting because back then, like, it would have been, the word, I guess, would have been spread by the word of mouth or, like, paintings and things.
Yeah.
Like, the clothing would have been painted and people would have seen. Like, if you, the fashion around, was it minks? The little, the spotty white and black spotty things that royalty had on, like, the mink fur trim. Yeah. Like, that was, like, a really big thing for ages. Or sometimes actual legislation. Like, Queen Elizabeth made it a law that there were certain colours you could only wear if you're on your class standing. So royalty could only wear purple. I know, and there were like knights. If you're like a knight or above, you can wear blue and things like that. And then that became like legislated into law, and like the fashion laws were like actively dictated.
Didn't you have like a fact about
Queen Lizzie? Well, because she made red hair super popular, our Ranga
because she's
icon.
pictured in every like painting as a redhead.
A ginger, famous world-class ginger. And so like all her ladies in waiting would dye their hair red because to look like her, and they would do it using piss. Fun fact, because fermented urine has bleaching properties, which it wouldn't dye your hair like this, but it will mildly, so that you go
like tone it red.
Because when you start to bleach your hair, you use it'll go red before it goes blonde. So it looked hot, like Queen Lizzie, because people wanted to look like her.
So that's the origin of celebrities being like influencers of fashion. I have a great quote from the
sexy little book.
From my book. Royalty actresses and royal mistresses have all been trendsetters. The first courtier, Charles Friedrich Worth, benefited from the high-profile patronage of fashion icon Empress Eugenie, the wife of Napoleon III of France. So it's not just kind of like that they had a relationship and like royalty had like an impact on fashion, but there was kind of like this idea of patronage between fashion designers and royalty that allowed fashion designers to innovate and kind of do kind of crazy things that really drove fashion forward into the 20th century.
And then we're talking about the 1930s, kind of how that kind of
shifted,
blossomed, as it will, in fact. Well, shifted, from royalty, because by then 1930s really was the boost of Hollywood and like mainstream cinema. So
actresses and actors became like the new kind of royalty, the new people in the public eye.
Because it's funny, because before that, this is no more, I'll leave the history after this, but like before that, before the 1930s, acting was considered a really like a really bad profession. Like it was embarrassing to be an actor. Yeah. Like it was, in a lot of culture, like older cultures, it was considered to be as bad as like being a prostitute.
Wow.
Well, literally. So in my class, this is relevant because it's like tying all back. But in classics, we were reading this. I think it was by Seneca, the work, and it was literally like, you can't marry someone who is a criminal or is a prostitute or an actor. If you're a politician, they're like all the worst things. And now they're considered like the most influential and some of the most. Generally,
it's like actors and singers.
Actors and performers, but it's like the idea of performers are the most influential people when it comes to like all, I mean, not just fashion, but like lifestyle in general, right? Like you think about Gwyneth Paltrow. I mean, maybe Gwyneth Paltrow is a bad example, but it stems into all areas of life.
Yeah.
Like it always starts with fashion, but I think fashion often, like who people look to for fashion becomes a really key indicator of who they look to for.
Yeah. So in the 1930s, we kind of saw that kind of first movement towards fashion as kind of being inspired by movie stars. Like people started to like copy the way that like actresses were done up in films. I have another quote.
Oh.
By the 1930s, women were flocking to the movies and copying the influential looks of Hollywood stars. Greta Garbo's trench coats, Joan Crawford's full painted lips, Marlene Dietrich's smoldering glamour. And the film studio's costume designers, such as Travis Banton and Gilbert Adrian, ensured that the stars looked as impeccable off-screen as they did on it. So that's that kind of interesting thing to notice, that there's two kind of different fashion influences that you kind of see from performers. You kind of see the fashion that they do on the screen and the fashion they do off the screen. Yeah. And I think there's a very distinct difference between the two.
Or a distinct difference in what way?
Well, it's like curated for different purposes. I think like costume fashion is very different from just
that is true.
Lifestyle fashion. I mean,
the key way is that costume fashion is not always meant to be good.
Yeah.
But I think there's still like a specific story is trying to be conveyed within the piece of cinema that we're looking at, which we'll get more into because we will be we'll do multiple film and television analysis ones in the future. I would argue that a lot of teen-based like television show, like or young shows aimed at young women are like in a lot of times trying to focus more on the fashion and like influencing those fashion cycles rather than specifically emulating the story, because fashion is a core part of a lot of these stories. Yeah, which is, I'm not saying it as like to be critical, but I think in this regard, like it makes sense because like what the young kids are wearing is sometimes like a really big.
I mean, I guess like it's a bit of both, because I just thought about how when Stranger Things came out, there was that huge boom in like 80s style fashion. Like everyone was wearing those like kind of bomber jackets and
absolutely
docks, and everyone cut their hair short, and there was a lot of like 80s. There was a lot of 80s kind of influence.
And glasses, well, like I'm not wearing my big chunky glasses today, but that kind of style really got popular again after. I mean, you're absolutely right there about like, I think sometimes they often go hand in hand. I mean, with Barbie, I went to the shops just before Barbie came out. Almost every brand, even if they weren't partnered with Barbie, had like a pink theme, right? Like pink was the color of the season.
So TV shows and movies have a lot of influence on fashion, and celebrities play a part in that. But we are talking about celebrity specific fashion, so I think we should kind of bring
Let's go back to off-screen.
You kind of see there's been a kind of escalation of, we talked about the connection that stylists and celebrities have. I think that's kind of been enhanced and curated today. Like a lot of the time, certain celebrities will be partnering with different brands. Like Justin Bieber collaborated with Calvin Klein.
But I think it's not just he's like an ambassador of Calvin Klein. Like some of them, it's not so much that
it's not collaboration, it's like an extended partnership.
Yeah, like I mean, Gucci has extended partnerships with a lot. Like they had their most recent ambassadors. They had, I remember Harry Styles and Serena Williams. Like she's not an actor or a musician, but she's, I guess, a performer in some way. I mean, is sport a performer? But she's a person of influence. Like she's a celebrity. Yeah. She is a person of influence. But I think, for Serena Williams as an individual is really interesting because as an athlete, I feel like, she takes influencing athletic wear in a really unique way.
I think she's just glamour.
I love her.
She's just
I love Serena Williams.
I think we should also say at this point that kind of what we're talking about, I think for us in this conversation, there's a distinction between kind of celebrities and influencers that we should talk about. Like, we're both media students, so we have learned a lot about kind of celebrity culture and influencer culture. Yeah. And I think there's a different, because I think with celebrities, there's a certain kind of distance that you don't kind of
Yes.
get with influencers. Like the whole kind of influencer brand started out from like, oh, I'm just like you, and
Yeah.
this is what I'm doing in my daily life, and guys, watch my vlog kind of thing. And there's like the influencer culture, I think, is built on the idea of like there's a connection between you and the influencer. And I don't think celebrity culture
I think it's quite the contrary. I think
Yeah.
on the opposite. Like celebrity culture, a part of the foundations of it is it's built on this distance.
Yeah, it's kind of like the elevation
It's
of
almost
a person.
like, I don't want to get too existential, but it is very similar to how the way that people looked at like royalty in a way. Or even like deities or something like that. Like
Yeah.
obviously that's a very extreme thing, but like this distance, it's like, I mean, it kind of reminds me of like ancient cultures, the way they viewed deities. Like they had these myths, like you know of them, you know the stories around them, you almost know them.
Yeah.
But that separation is like really a crucial part.
Because you could never know them.
You can never really know. But you're like, it's like
You kind of have to
tantalizing.
yeah. And I think fashion comes into that because something that I think about with like when I'm being looking at fashion influencers is there's kind of like always that kind of like underlying thing of at some point they've kind of chosen this. I mean, to the extent, I mean, like you get up in those kind of Met Gala ranks of influencers, and there's a lot. The separation starts to blur. But with your kind of like everyday fashion influencer, yeah, they've got a team, they've got a stylist, but they're also, I feel like I don't know, maybe this is just the illusion of it.
You think they pick their clothes?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think often to get started on their platform, they have to already have these clothes. But
you have to like to be a fashion influencer, you have to be like fashionable.
But unless you're, I don't know, dad owns Gucci or something.
Yeah.
But for most, you're Emma Chamberlains of the world, right?
Yeah.
You've got to have something to begin with.
Yeah.
But
that's not the case as much, I feel, for
it's
a lot of
definitely not
celebrities.
the case for celebrities.
Because the thing that kind of gets hidden.
Actual skill. No, sorry, no offense to Emma. But they are skilled actors and performers and musicians or
they don't
athletes.
Their kind of realm of expertise isn't around fashion. So when it comes to fashion, a lot of that decision making comes from like the external stylist, for better or for worse.
And for better in terms of how they look, I would say.
Yeah.
But I think there is something that people selectively forget, is that a lot of the time the choice that the celebrity has on what they're wearing on their red carpet, on their
stage,
on their little talk show, on the late show with James Corden, not anymore, but you know what I mean, like on their late night shows, on their red carpet.
It's not a choice that they've made. It's a choice that someone else has made for them.
Or even in like the paparazzi shots as well. Like a lot of that's massively curated.
Yeah.
Even the stuff that's meant to be seen as like, you know,
and it's curated for us. Like it's not curated, it's curated for us, so we will see the things that celebrities are wearing and be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. I want to wear that. I want to buy that.
Yeah.
Which I think is an important thing to kind of recognize.
There is a real idea that because I think we want to see them as real people, we do forget that most of the time on these red carpet looks, they're not picking looks themselves, which we were kind of talking about is a really interesting thing, where when a celebrity consistently has really good looks on the red carpet, we've got Zendaya.
Or Rihanna.
Oh, like Rihanna's Met Gala. Rihanna's a Met Gala royalty, right? Everyone's like, Rihanna owns the Met Gala.
Yeah.
She doesn't design the outfits though, but a lot of time people go, she ate that. And she did.
She did. And there's like work in like presenting the outfit and stuff.
And some of them do work alongside the designers, but they're not
the designer. They're not the stylist.
They're not the genius behind these works of art that are being presented. But I feel like a lot of the time a view of the celebrity is impacted by what they wear to the Met Gala. Like you think about a lot of people go, that was really embarrassing, like the way they looked so bad at the Met Gala. And it's like, well, I don't think they had much to do with what they were wearing at the Met Gala. Like a lot of the time it's
like
just
Margot Robbie wearing all that Chanel, because she kind of had to wear the Chanel. And
then sometimes people go, oh, poor Margot Robbie being forced to wear all the Chanel. But her stylist done her dirty.
Imagine having to wear Chanel all the time.
And I get like what I mean. Like a lot of the times the outfits weren't styled I get what
Yeah.
people meant when they were like, they were not the best for her.
Yeah.
But it was interesting in the case of Margot Robbie that people were really like, oh, poor thing. I'm glad she's free and can wear, I don't know, whatever the hell she wears now.
Other stuff.
I'm so glad her Chanel contract is up now. But yeah, it's an interesting thing where people, I guess, selectively choose when they want to acknowledge the
fashion of a celebrity and when they don't want to acknowledge
yes, like I think people really do pick and choose. I mean, yeah, I was gonna say even in the case of like paparazzi photos and things, people go, oh my god, I love their style, and it's like,
someone's made that. Someone put that cute ass scar on Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I've seen this is related to Taylor Swift's like curious. I saw someone talking about how they believe that a lot of Taylor's outfits don't go well together on purpose because they're trying to make her seem normal. I don't know if I believe this theory. I think some of her outfits look great. Okay, some she slays a lot. I wouldn't say she's not like. I really love her as an artist.
I think she's great. I loved 1989 Taylor
Did you
Swift.
listen to it?
Yeah, of course I did. I'm not.
What's your favorite Vault track?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't listen really.
You didn't listen to the Vault tracks?
I listened to like Style and Blake Space and had a whale of a time. Let's take a break.
We'll take a break and then we'll get in. Oh, trust me, we're gonna get in to things to do with 1989 Taylor's version because that is actually very relevant in what we're getting into next after the break.
Stife and Lyle. Top tip number 2, which is more of like a kind of public PSA. I've had a lot of people come to me and ask me recently whether or not they're doing the sandwich method. I just need everyone to know, I'm going to reiterate this to everyone who's listening. The sandwich method is a guide, not a rule.
It's a one method.
You don't need to do it to have a fashionable outfit.
We're not doing it today, but I don't think neither of us are doing it today. Hey, Zoe's dad, stop asking Zoe
about the
sandwich method. You look amazing, but you don't need to do the sandwich method. You can, but you don't need to. Okay, so we are going to talk about some of our own personal fashion influences in our time. I'd like to start by saying we're not sheep. No, so we're not like, I don't mean this in like a you should look to celebrities as like the be all end all like gods of fashion. And it's not like I'm like actively like eyeballing people that I like for fashion.
Yeah.
But I think it is important to acknowledge that what you're like, the kind of people that you're watching, the media you're consuming is very influential to your own personal style.
You replicate what you see almost unintentionally, I think.
And I'd like to start it off with the royalty, if you will, of fashion influence in modern day. Not people that me or I think I speak for both of us when I say these aren't people necessarily that we look up to.
Sometimes I'm actively trying to not copy these people, which is in turn, isn't that just also some form of copying?
So true.
It's an endless cycle. You can't copy and you can't not copy. So just do what you want. Yeah.
Just like so specific. Well, I'll name drop. So we're talking about the Hadids. You got Bella and Gigi, most prominently Bella, I'd say.
I actively try to not do anything
Motherfuckers love Bella Hadid.
Bella Hadid is doing.
We got Hailey Bieber / Hailey Baldwin is obviously incredibly influential. And so, like every 2 seconds, like Hailey Bieber glazed donut nails, Hailey Bieber caramel macchiato hair, or whatever it is that people.
The Hailey Bieber lip gloss thing.
Oh,
she was wearing the brown lip liner.
When she was literally just doing what like women of color have been doing for like their entire that was a moment. Whatever like style that women of color have that Hailey Bieber is appropriating of the month. Then you've got obviously the Kardashians and the Jenners. I wouldn't say any of these people are really like people we specifically look up to.
Though I do really like Kim Kardashian's hair, and I think she copied it from me. So
the bob.
No, she cut her hair like super short, didn't she?
She has a bob right now, I think.
Well, she had like in one photo shoot, she had like super really short.
I don't know. Was that
hair.
real or was that a wig? I thought it was a wig.
I don't know. Maybe it was a wig, but I still like it.
But you think Kim Kardashian was copying you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she watches the Stife and Lyle podcast.
I think Kim K is. If you're Kim K, we'd love to have you as a guest, as our first guest on the Stife and Lyle. Kim K, if you're listening, I take back everything I said, and I also want North on because I want North to eat an onion on the pod. Have you seen that video of North eating an onion like an apple?
No.
It's really funny. She's like insulting her mother while eating an onion like an apple. It's unhinged and it's art. But what we're saying is, even if you are not a subscriber to that kind of realm of people,
Fashion has a trickle-down effect.
Trickle-down economics might not work, but trickle-down fashion influence
definitely does.
Definitely does.
Like these people are sitting at like the top of the top of the pie.
Yeah.
And that kind of, people watch them, people get influenced by them.
Yeah.
They do what they're doing. Like, I don't know, Bella Hadid wears cowboy boots.
Yeah.
And then all the fashion people at New
It's
York.
literally that scene from Mean Girls.
Yeah. All the fashion people in New York wear cowboy
I saw
boots.
Bella
And then
Hadid
everyone
wearing
in like
cowboy
H&M
boots.
starts making cowboy boots. And the cycle continues. So yeah, even though we might not even if you might not actively follow these people, they're still influencing fashion and your fashion.
Because I mean, because like people who you might like do listen to them, and then you'll look at them, and then you'll kind of imitate it, even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So don't stress about following people that you might not respect, is what I'm saying. Because
I got tons of the respect for the Kardashians. Like, for
really,
real. Yeah,
interesting.
they're very good at marketing.
I agree. I think they are at times a little unethical.
Yeah,
a little unethical.
I can say that I can say that I have respect for someone, but also agree that they are unethical.
Okay, I concur. I agree. I definitely think they're smarter than people give them credit for.
Yeah, me too.
But this is a whole other topic.
That's a whole other thing.
I want to talk about my personal, so we were talking about 1989 Taylor's version. Speaking, I want to talk about someone who's been very influential to my fashion journey, Harry Styles.
Yes.
Mr. Now That We Don't Talk, Mr. Style himself. Mr.
James Dean Daydream.
Mr. Is it over now? Mr. If she's got blue eyes, I will surmise that you'll probably date her. That's that you're missing out on by not listening to that song.
Listen to the song.
It's so, oh my god, that line had me gagged. Anyway, okay, so Harry Styles has become, I feel like it's kind of recently he's become, relative, like his.
What was Love on Tour, like 2021?
Yeah, so when I meant more since like his solo career was really when people really started. And I think Love on Tour was a big part of that because that was really when the pearls became a thing. And I did not see people wearing pearls who weren't like elderly women before Harry Styles started doing it. I'm sure people were doing it, but it's common now to wear, like, I am a pearl bitch.
Yeah.
I wear pearls. Yeah, I wear pearls in so much stuff. This is normally I'm wearing my little pearl necklace. It's like one of my go-to necklaces. I'm not wearing it today.
So those who don't know, Harry Styles started wearing pearl necklaces, so we started wearing pearl necklaces.
I bought a pearl necklace because Harry Styles had a pearl necklace.
I tried to resist it as for as long as I can, but it's a pretty look.
I didn't. I bought a pearl necklace from Oxfam because I wanted to wear it with a little woolen vest, like how I saw Harry Styles doing.
And the crochet. The crochet was huge. Like, did you know that the V&A Museum has Harry Styles' original crochet sweater?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw it when I went.
But that was because that was a huge thing. I mean, the Harry Styles crochet sweater project in lockdowns especially was such a huge moment for crochet. Because I think it really crochet was already becoming super big with COVID and the pandemic. I think
that kind of just like capitalized and built on off it.
Yeah, and that really the idea of something that you make yourself, and then it became this like big thing with this.
And Harry Styles didn't make that fucking crochet.
Well, no, it was
cardigan.
an original design by a super high. It was like a high fashion designer brand, and then they released the patent for it.
Yeah,
and then everyone was like, and then it became really accessible. Which was really cool. But also I think his use of color is something that what I really respect about him is something that a lot of people get the ick from, and that's how he's not afraid to just look fucking ugly as fuck. Some of his outfits are so stupid, and I love them. Because same king. Like, I remember when I saw when he had that like jumpsuit, but like his like little nipples were out, and it was like and it was like stripy, and it was hideous. But you know what? I respect it, Harry. Harry, friend of the pod, come on the podcast.
It's a joint. The guest episode is going to be a joint
Harry
episode
Styles.
with Kim Kardashian and Harry Styles. What an episode it's going to be!
Oh my god, there's so many connections between.
I'm sure there is.
I could talk about celebrity dating life for ages, but I'm not going to right now. But I think, and also I think he was a big proponent of the sweater vest coming back. Granddad chic was absolutely propelled by Harry Styles.
Sure.
Because that became such a big thing 2021 and onwards. Like looking cute while wearing items that were typically worn by like elderly people.
It's really interesting how it's like his fashion influenced so much feminine fashion.
Which is super interesting because obviously he's not a woman.
Yeah.
But his fashion was...
King.
But he was a super big influence in women's fashion. And that I could
There's not much crossover there, which is really it's a really kind of interesting phenomenon. Like it's rare for women's fashion to influence
men's fashion. I think I'd say it's even less probable that a women's fashion, because men, I think that's because that's a whole, we could get into
the patriarchy.
We could get into the patriarchy till the cows come home, but I think there is a reason that women's fashion is unlikely to influence mainstream men's fashion, and that's because men don't like women as people. Men don't see women as people. I want to talk about now a different part of Harry Styles' fashion.
Sure.
And that was the influence that he had, the grip that 2014 Harry Styles had on gay women. And I mean this in the sense of the way that he dressed. Those fucking wide brim hats that he wore in like the 4/Made in the AM era. Long hair Harry, those ugly ass when you were still in One Direction.
Fedoras.
Those ugly ass hats.
Yeah,
I know so many women who lived religiously by those hats with the skinny jeans and the ugly little scarf and the V-necks. I know women I know, so, and you know, all of those girls, gay.
Fair enough. I think it's just a thing of like, it's really interesting how it's all, a lot of that kind of stuff is like, he's not, and we've talked about a lot how we were focusing on kind of celebrity fashion that was kind of on the outside of performance, but most of that stuff is performance wear.
Yeah.
Which is the kind of difference between, I think, movie cinema actors and singers.
Yes.
Because I feel like in a movie, we are not identifying with the celebrity, we're identifying with like the character that they're playing. Yeah. And there's like that divide between like,
but I know a lot of the time we get them mixed up as well. Yeah. Especially with fan favorite characters, which I feel like that's a whole other issue.
But with a singer, a performer who's on the stage, there's kind of like that, the illusion that they are choosing what they are wearing is much stronger, I think, because it's like a real life thing. And like that's the idea of a concert. It's like a real life thing that you're going to see, and, and part of that is
and there's like, we're talking about dress codes for concerts that aren't officially there, but it's like an unspoken rule, right? So you're talking about the Beyonce concert.
Well, the Beyonce thing. So there's a rule at Beyonce concerts that you must wear silver. And to me, I think that has sparked a huge renaissance in silver fashion and silver jewelry. I mean, I don't know if the chrome nails were like directly. I think that was Bella's Hadid, but I think a lot of
Hadid's once again taking credit for Black women's influence.
But there's the kind of ways that there's a big kind of connection between, I think, concerts and cultural phenomenons. I think concerts can do a lot to kind of shape what people are thinking about. I think about the Eras tour, or like I feel like a lot of social media at the moment, I often think about in kind of like concert rounds. In some ways, that you have like Love on Tour, and you got the Renaissance, and then you've got the Eras tour, and they all kind of have like blocks of how they influence the internet in certain ways. Maybe that's just the kind of side that I
agree. I hadn't thought about that before, but now like after you said that, I 100% agree.
But in that kind of sense, concerts and concert wear have a very, I think, a significant amount of influence on what people are wearing. Which is like, I mean, this doesn't really count. This is more kind of imitation. But think about how many people recreate Taylor Swift's era tours.
It was like,
outfits.
they recreate outfits she wore in music videos as well, or things she wore at other concerts. Like that's, I mean, a main thing is you have to do some kind of Taylor Swift themed outfit, which often involves recreating a former outfit. I think cowboy hats as casual wear, because how many artists have cowboy hats as like part of their like so many, and I've noticed people wearing them as like not casual, but like not going to a concert, like going out to like a little party or something, wearing like which as a hat girly I love to see. But it's really interesting because that's like there's been a real renaissance, if you will, of like certain items that kind of started with.
So I feel like we've kind of uncovered a kind of hidden connection between singers, concert outfits, and this kind of celebrity influence. Like, you've kind of got your basic like Bella Hadid who are just out and about, and that's more like the streetwear stuff. But then they've got this whole other realm of like concert, whereas
but that then trickles down into streetwear in a way a lot of the time as well.
I mean, pink is like a thing now.
Pink, but like I mean, you think about a lot of the, if you look back to Harry Styles again, if you look at like what he wears, you can see a lot of the markers of that.
Like checker
print, or like super bold like
colors.
Pastel, like contrasting pastel colors, and the tight printing vest with the big like flashy kind of 80s 70s inspo designs on them, like those sorts of things.
So to summarize,
to conclude,
this kind of mishmosh, pash posh kind of thing. Celebrity fashion trickles down. Even if you don't intend to imitate a celebrity, you probably, with the way that fashion is going, you probably will, because celebrities have a huge sway on.
I mean, it's fashion. Like that monologue in The Devil Wears Prada. I feel like that could summarize this entire thing. You know, when she's like, "Oh, you think you're so original because you don't." You're not following the trends.
You're not
following the trends, but
the sweater has been picked out for you by the people in this room.
Yeah.
Great movie.
But I feel like that monologue could basically summarize everything that we've said here today.
So I think we should just about wrap up.
I agree.
Today. I hope that you have enjoyed episode 6 of Stife and Lyle. We are officially over the halfway mark to 10 episodes, which I think is a great achievement.
That is great. I mean, we've had a couple weeks off recently, people see, just because of assessments and things, but we're done with classes for the year.
Yeah.
And we're coming to the end of assignments, so we're going to lose the studio soon, I think, in a couple of weeks, which is kind of sad. But we're going to try and continue episodes outside of the studio, outside of semester time. We'll have this for a few more weeks, but in the next coming episodes, you might see a different background. But we will persist.
Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. You can listen to Stife and Lyle on Spotify or check us out on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening.
And don't forget to check out the Fit. Follow us on Instagram, where you can see the Fit checks of the week, as well as weekly episode updates as to where we're at with upcoming episodes.
Thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic day.
Enjoy your day. Thank you.